Crocodiles have been around for over 200 million years. And during that time, they've managed to survive 2 mass extinctions. They were also thought to have survived the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event 66 million years ago, wiped out the dinosaurs. But recent evidence suggests that they actually went extinct at this time and re-emerged once again, possibly due to a population bottleneck. In any case, they're still around today, and they're still attacking humans. But 1.5 million years ago, it was us humans who were on the offensive. Humanity battled crocodiles to reclaim their territory. But what led our ancestors to go to war with these massive reptiles? And how did they fare against such powerful opponents? Let's find out. It all began in Africa, where humanity first emerged. We know from studying our DNA that our species split from that of Neanderthals about 500,000 years ago. At this point, we were still living in Africa, but slowly started moving into the Middle East. The problem was that Homo erectus, who had lived there for hundreds of thousands of years, refused to leave. He was happy in his homeland and wasn't going to be chased out by a bunch of newcomers. So the 2 species clashed, and the Homs were driven back. They tried to settle down in Africa, but a group of them known as the Homo heidelbergensis had already taken over. Again, our ancestors were forced to flee, this time heading further afield into Europe and Asia. Now, up until this point, humans hadn't really spread that far from their native homeland, but over the next few 100,000 years, we managed to make our way across the continent and beyond, populating the world. But we didn't do this on foot. Evidence has shown that our ancestors used boats to travel across water. This is evidenced by the creation of small fishing boats dating back 70,000 years. And some researchers believe that our ancestors even created seafaring vessels dating back 135,000 years. This means that our ancestors would have been able to explore new territories much faster than if they were on foot, which allowed them to expand their domain. But one group of hominins wasn't having it. The Neanderthals weren't going to let us take their land without a fight. So our ancestors and the Neanderthals fought many battles over the next few 100,000 years. While we eventually won most of these wars, it wasn't easy. As modern humans spread throughout Europe, they encountered many dangerous predators, including big cats, wolves, and especially crocodiles. Crocodiles in particular were a threat to humans, since they were ambush predators that could easily take down a human if given the chance. In fact, in some parts of the world, crocodiles still attack humans today, so it's not hard to imagine that they would have been a major problem for our ancestors. The good news is that crocodiles aren't the smartest creatures, so they weren't able to organize an effective defense against the humans. This allowed our ancestors to slowly push them back, but it wasn't easy. In fact, there is evidence that humans and crocodiles coexisted in Europe for tens of thousands of years before the crocodiles were finally wiped out. One of the reasons that crocodiles were able to survive for so long is that they are extremely adaptable. They can live in both salt and fresh water. And they're also able to fast for long periods of time. This means that they can survive in a wide variety of environments, and they're also not picky eaters. Crocodiles will eat just about anything that enters their territory, and they're especially efficient at catching fish. In fact, 90% of a crocodile's diet consists of fish, although they'll occasionally eat mammals, birds, and reptiles. This meant that crocodiles were a constant threat to early humans, since they were always hungry and they were very efficient at catching prey. Plus, crocodiles are excellent swimmers and they're also very fast. They can move through the water with ease, and they're able to accelerate quickly when ambushing their prey. This made it difficult for humans to defend themselves against crocodiles, since they were often caught off guard. Plus, crocodiles have very strong jaws, and they don't let go of their prey easily. They're able to exert a bite force of up to 2,000 psi, which is enough to crush bones and tear flesh. This meant that once a crocodile had a human in its clutches, it was unlikely that the human would get away unscathed. Despite these difficulties, humans eventually managed to defeat the crocodiles and push them back. One of the ways that humans were able to do this was by using weapons. Early humans developed spears and other sharp objects that they used to defend themselves against crocodiles. These weapons allowed humans to keep crocodiles at bay, and they also gave them a way to strike back. Plus, humans were able to work together in groups to take down crocodiles. We're not sure exactly how humans hunted crocodiles, but it likely involved a combination of spears and clubs. Humans may have also used fire to drive crocodiles away. Crocodiles are cold-blooded creatures, so they need to stay warm in order to function properly. Fire would have been a very effective way to drive crocodiles away and prevent them from attacking humans. Whatever methods humans used, they were eventually successful in defeating the crocodiles. The last time crocodiles lived in Europe was about 1.5 million years ago. Since then, they've been confined to Africa, Asia, and the Americas. But the war between humans and crocodiles didn't end there. In fact, crocodiles continued to attack humans for thousands of years after they were driven out of Europe. There are many reports of crocodile attacks from ancient times, and the attacks have only become more common in recent years. Crocodiles are still a major threat to humans in many parts of the world, and we're still learning how to defend ourselves against them. Today, there are many different species of crocodiles, and they vary in size and behavior. However, they all share one thing in common. They're dangerous predators that should be respected. Crocodiles are cold-blooded creatures that need to stay warm in order to function properly. They do this by basking in the sun or by swimming in warm water. This makes them very efficient hunters, since they do expend a lot of energy when stalking their prey. However, this also means that they're not very good at escaping danger. If a crocodile is attacked by a predator, such as a human, it's unlikely to be able to escape. This is because crocodiles are very slow on land and they can easily be outrun by humans. Plus, crocodiles are not good climbers, so they can't escape into trees. This means that if a crocodile is cornered, it's likely to be killed. Despite this, crocodiles are still very dangerous creatures and they should be respected. We've already mentioned their strong jaws and their sharp teeth, but crocodiles also have very strong tails. Their tails are powerful enough to knock a human off their feet, and they can also be used as weapons to defend against predators. Plus, crocodiles have very thick skin that makes them resistant to many types of attacks. This is why it's so difficult to kill a crocodile, and it's also why they're able to live for so long. In some cases, crocodiles have been known to live for over 100 years. This means that they've had plenty of time to learn and adapt, and it also means that they're very patient predators. Crocodiles are very capable of waiting for a long time before making their move. This allows them to catch their prey off guard and gives them the element of surprise. All of this is to say that crocodiles are very complex creatures, and they shouldn't be underestimated. While they may not be as intelligent as humans, they're still very capable predators, and they've been around for millions of years for a reason. They're able to survive in a variety of environments, and they're very efficient hunters. Plus, they're very patient, and they're not afraid to wait for the perfect opportunity to strike. So despite the fact that crocodiles are cold-blooded creatures that are slow on land and not great at climbing, they're still very dangerous and should be respected. Thanks for watching.